Before we start, I wrote a little something. A bunch of Irish grabbers, a movie where a bunch of Irishmen get supremely drunk while plotting genocide. Through the blackmail. Through the blackmail.
Wow, it sounds like I wrote this.
I know, this sounds like exactly like something Chris wrote. Oh wait, that's right. He's just redoing your thing for the Untouchables.
Yep.
I just thought I'd start right as being an asshole right out front.
Oh man.
Blackmail.
Things aren't funny when they're making fun of me.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm your number one fan.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
They're coming to get you, Barbara. They all flow down here.
What's blood for, if not for shedding?
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
Here's Johnny!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to John Hates Movies, the Spooktober edition. This is the movie review podcast where my friends interrupt me from transplanting human hair to my doll collection and instead force me to watch movies. Wow. Today, with us, we have Eric the Devil Largent,
Tally ho.
James the Zombie Bear Up.
Guys, I'm really sick. Let's all just calm down now. I'm really sick. I'm just trying to recover.
Okay.
What? What was that?
Patient Zero James.
Chris the Ghost Baked Potato Arsenault.
Okay.
And Colin the Twinkly Vampire Macmillan.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to have a Beetlejuice reference there. I was going to go for attention Kmart shoppers, but instead I just sort of choked on my own vomit. Did Eric say tally
It's
ho?
also a very Beetlejuice-like thing.
He did say
good.
tally ho.
Good. Then we can begin.
Okay.
You know why he says tally ho all the time? Because he's so busy tallying up all his hoes. So he's like, hang on, I'm tallying hoes. Tally ho. No? All right. You can cut that.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Colin,
Yes.
nice fucking podcast.
Dang it.
You know, Tally Ho is originally a Fox Hunting.
That's what I thought.
reference. Also, when they invented the telephone, they were back and forth between whether to use hello as what you answer and Tally Ho.
Oh, I wish it was tally ho.
Ahoy, hoy.
Alexander Graham Bell said we should.
Ahoy, hoy.
Yeah, he said ahoy hoy. That was his suggestion.
Yeah, well, he's a dope.
You'd think, he invented it, he'd get to name it.
No, because the asshole that invented the GIF wants to call it a GIF, and he's wrong.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That guy is
Yeah, he's wrong.
He's wrong.
That's
Yeah.
true.
He's wrong.
Sometimes the brilliant minds, like, their brilliance only goes so far. After that, you don't know anything, and you shouldn't have any input. This thing that you made that toasts bread, it's really, really great, but we're not calling it a schmenkelrator, okay? We're calling it a fucking toaster because it toasts. It doesn't schmenkel anything.
Just like these monsters, we're not going to call them something else. We're going to call them grabbers, because that's what they do.
That's right.
Nope.
Yep.
So, this month, all of this month, we are doing spooky movies. Yes, that's the sound of spooky. So, what we're talking about today is the movie Grabbers.
Grabbers.
Yes, it's the first in...
All right, sorry.
Thriller?
But first, hey everyone, if you've ever wanted John Hates Movies to review your movie choice, all you have to do to get in on the action is go to our Facebook page, John Hates Movies, post your movie review suggestion, as well as the member that you want to play this week's game for you. If that member is selected as the winner, we'll be watching your movie suggestion. Thanks a bunch, folks, and keep on listening to John Hates Movies. All right, so Grabbers on Netflix. Netflix gives it almost 4 stars. I'd say 3 3/4.
Too low.
Yeah, this was a good movie.
Too low.
I liked it.
Told you.
The synopsis is residents of an Irish island must get very drunk to survive attacks by alien monsters who can't tolerate a high blood alcohol level in their victims. Starring Richard Coyle, Ruth Bradley, Russell Tovey, and was created by John Wright. It's a small-time independent film. Pretty much looks like a full-on Irish cast and Irish film company, from what I could tell.
That's good.
Who wants to start us off?
I will. Okay, Grabbers. I took some notes while watching it, sort of Eric Largent style.
Good, because Eric Largent didn't do it this week.
Hey, I legitimately stole your thing. I didn't just pirate it. Yar indeed. So I did actually make it through the whole movie with notes, although I suspected that I wouldn't because, as you may have already gathered, good folks listening at home, I really enjoyed the shit out of this movie. I thought it was quite good. So let's go through the notes and then I'll see what else I got. My first note is, I'm 1/8 Irish, 1/4 Scottish, and 1/5 Jack Daniels. Let's see, about 7 minutes in, I thought, wait, this might be a good movie. Number 3, I was mad that the monster is shown in the thumbnail. That actually legitimately made me angry because it's called Grabbers, so you know it's a monster movie, and the thumbnail is like the monster. And yeah. I was like, well, that's shitty. There should be some level of suspense, especially since you don't actually see what the monster looks like for a good 15-20 minutes into the movie.
At least. They go a while without showing the monster.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of a throwback, like Jaws style, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was pleased by that.
The first time you see the monster is when it jumps up out of the chimney, right? Or is it when he's got it in the back?
You don't know. You don't really see it then.
Okay.
The first time you see a clear one is in
the bathroom.
Okay.
But that's the smaller one. So, but
yeah, the big one. I think the first time you see it is in the Bat Cave.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, the cave.
Yes, that's true. And it's when you even realize that there's a big one, like a big one, is and that's probably a good half hour in. Let's see. Moving on. Apparently, these boys have never seen a woman before.
It's Ireland.
Yes. Then I just have in giant blue letters, feck.
Yeah. That was a feck.
Yep.
And then, fecking.
Fecking arse.
This guy can really drink. Sometimes I really enjoy when I don't know any of the actors in a movie. And I did actually really like that, although I recognize the guy from who's the werewolf in the UK version of Being Human. He was the posh doctor guy. But I was okay with that because I don't know his name and I have to describe him as the guy who was in that other thing that guy was in. So I'm okay with that.
And
let's see. 25 minutes, 20 seconds, first monster sighting. And the old dude, Patty, successfully kills it, which I was also really shocked by. That this seemed like the kind of movie where they're just setting up, like 10 characters in the village that are just going to be killed by the monster, which is pretty standard for schlock horror.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really surprised that like this old drunk dude just manages to kill this alien.
Yeah.
Right.
With like he kicks it to death, I think. Okay, her boots match her puffy coat. I'm not sure what state I was in when I wrote a lot of this. Okay, he wants to name it Grabber. Lol. Patty is awesome. I was digging Patty apparently. Is this brainy dude the werewolf from Being Human? I watch a lot of Columbo. Priceless. She's sort of an Irish Anna Paquin. I approve. Rolled up magazine. I approve.
Yep, that was good.
This woman is an amazing drunk.
Yeah.
I was very pleased with her when it gets to the point where they start imbibing alcohol heavily because she's so... I mean, it's not like it's a new trick to have the uptight girl let her hair down and suddenly she's like a totally different person. But that actor had the best drunk face ever.
Yeah, she did
Yep.
being drunk really well.
Her drunk face was just awesome. It's like, man, I have seen that face many times, and so I enjoyed the drunk leading lady. And we get to the party scene, and I have in giant blue letters, "OMG, so Irish." because it was like I felt like, and I'm glad that this movie was actually made by an Irish group, but and it's like all Irish all the time, for Irish, by Irish, of Irish, whatever.
Phoebe.
But I
every
felt like
Irish stereotype.
Phoebe.
Yeah, no kidding. I felt like that bar scene was everything that an American wants Ireland to be.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of people stomping around going, "Oi, fecker!" at each other, and just getting shit-faced and pouring beer on each other, and
Even the priest.
You dance like shite.
That said, I probably would have had a really good time at that party for about 45 minutes before I went full introvert, social awkward, and hid in a corner. I did. Let's see. I liked O'Shea's. I like when they get into O'Shea's sad story, and it turns out that the initial sad story you're told about him is just a lie.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also appreciated that his sad story is still kind of sad. It's just a much more normal sad story.
Yeah, it's just more plausible.
Right. It made way more sense for that character, and also, like, it's like, yeah, this bad thing happened to me, so I'm an alcoholic because I'm pissed off. It was much. I appreciated that he was much less tragic, but still he was pretty redeeming anyway. Like, I thought he was really cool. So let's see. For a faceless, amorphous tentacle monster, it has personality.
What's the personality? I don't remember it.
You know what it was? It was when it was like on top of the car.
Like
the siren went off, and it sort of does this like jerk back thing. Like, what the fuck was that? It was sort of like a cat playing with something, and that pleased me because it was like this sudden moment where the thing was like, what? Huh? And it was just, I don't know, it was very un-horror movie monster, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, it didn't just roll up on them and then just stop and then scream or roar and then start chopping bodies up.
Like roar and then, smash cut to black. Like, cut to black where you assume something dies. Actually, I love that it rolls. I thought that was super cool that it rolls around, like it didn't move like a bug or whatever. It had this method of transportation that was, it made sense for it, but was also like alien. Nothing rolls. We don't really have anything that rolls around.
Not really.
Can you think of an animal that rolls?
Armadillo?
Do they roll?
They only roll up.
Ball, but like,
that's a protective.
They'll roll down a hill,
the
but not
closest
necessarily
to it
like
is
on
probably
purpose.
A sea creature, like some of the squid stuff. That kind of.
They pull down a hill, but not on purpose. They're fucking terrified, but they can roll.
Yeah. I know pill bugs will kind of, every now and then.
Yeah, we're talking these
Same
are
sort of
bugs
deal,
that roll up for defense. These are self-defense shield rules.
Yeah,
not really movement.
But if they're self-defending on top of a hill, then
James,
you can be.
they'll roll.
Tires will roll.
That's true. Tires do roll. Yeah.
If they're sentient and they can kill you with your mind.
Yep.
Don't make me choose that.
Have we all seen that movie?
That movie was amazing. I don't think I finished it.
Yeah.
John, did we watch it together or?
Yes, we did.
We didn't finish it though, did we?
No, we got too drunk.
Well, thank
trying
God we
to
were
stop
safe
the grabbers
from
from
the aliens.
coming in.
I have some good ragdolling, Smith, from when Smith gets punted.
Yes.
Yes.
His limbs just sort of go all flappy while he's silhouetted in front of the moon.
He's never seen from again, is he?
No.
He died.
No.
That's it.
No.
That's it for him, which might be one of the best horror movie deaths I've ever seen because it was like, what? Whoa. And there was like no noise or musical stinger or anything with it. It was just like, punt!
No.
He just gets kicked.
There's sort of the sound of the wind as he sails over the skyline.
That's so great.
John, you may want to get your bleeper ready, but I liked the homage of "Get away from him, you," while driving construction equipment into the thing. That was nice. So basically, my final analysis was it's aliens plus Slither plus Arthur. Fantastico. I loved Grabbers. Nothing wrong with it. If you want a horror movie that's tongue-in-cheek and only horror in the loosest sense, with pretty good effects, great comedy, and generally pretty good production quality all around. I would highly recommend it.
Okay. Who's next?
It can't be me because I could just like redo Colin's.
Really? So you really enjoyed this too?
I
huh?
did. I enjoy. Well, okay. I guess we're gonna do me.
Well, I could go. I could go
I mean-
next if you don't want to, Eric.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, because mine's fairly. It's actually going to be short this time.
You say that every time.
Short by whose standards?
So let me just pad the background here. Back in 1754. So
Referencing cut material.
yes, indeed.
Don't worry, it'll be cut too. So those listening to the cutting room floor will really get all these jokes.
Right.
That's the way I roll, like a grabber. So let's see. Oh yeah, when people talk about or try to when some people try to defend bad movies, they will say, "Well, you know, it knew what it was and it didn't try to do too much." This movie is a perfect example of what happens when a movie knows what it is and doesn't try to do too much. And what happens is that you get a good movie. It's small and it doesn't try to add any extra like subplots behind it. This is very simple monster movie. Man, it was good. I really liked it. I can say it's a good movie. It's not a great. I'm not gonna be like run up to people and be like, "Oh my god, you gotta watch Grabbers." But if you're in the mood for if you're in the mood for like a monster movie for Halloween and you don't like really getting super scared and you just want something simple and fun to watch, you really can't do much better. The few points I was thinking about the movie were, I think that the woman was cast probably strictly because of her ability to play drunk. Yeah, there's nothing worse than watching somebody who has never been drunk try to act drunk.
That's true, because that's what you think. As soon as you see someone who's quite obviously acting drunk, you're like, I've been drunk. That's not how it is.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
I remember distinctly how I was.
That's bullshit. You slick.
Now the main character dude with the curly hair, I think he was in some sort of Doctor Who show in the past. I recognized him. I watched this movie twice. The first time I watched it, I was over at Chris's place and we were like doing something. We were like preparing for Hero Quest or something. He had it going on in the background. I liked it then. Watching it more, paying more attention to it, watching it just like with no distractions whatsoever the second time, it still held up. It was still really good. The great thing about this movie is that it's short, which isn't a slight on it. It's just there's no filler.
I agree. I think
no filler.
I think you add 25 minutes to this movie and it becomes a bad movie.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the perfect length.
Yeah, it's great, and you don't feel like you're hanging around there too long or wasting your time watching it. And the doctor guy was really bad at acting drunk. But he did have some of my favorite lines, like, "No, don't be a hero." And his death was probably my favorite. And
Right.
it's just, oh, fuck it. I guess it's a grabber now.
Yeah, his death was kind of reminiscent of the drunk guy trying to walk up and say hello to a tornado.
Yeah.
So right before he died was actually one of my favorite scenes in the movie where he's swaying back and forth, and like he'll like sway back, and you'll see him try to take a picture of the monster, and then he'll start like swaying forward, and the camera turns, and it's like his back, and you can see the monster there, like looking at him. Like that's actually that was actually a really good scene.
Yeah, that scene was well constructed and well shot.
Yeah.
The last thing I will say is my favorite line in the whole movie, which was maybe we should feed him Father McCready. Unless it eats shit, it'll choke.
I missed that one.
No,
Yeah,
that was great.
Getting drunk, and the father's like, "Hey, oh, sorry, Father, didn't see you there."
That's when they moved.
It was a
upstairs.
joke.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. I think you guys all missed a valid point in this movie, which was that it was truly a love story.
Oh.
A love story?
No.
This was truly a monster movie.
No, it ends and they're totally gonna hook up at the end.
No, the way it really ends is more grabbers get hatched.
Yeah.
No,
It's a monster movie.
Oh,
it
you thought it
alludes
ended?
to a sequel.
It's not over, Christopher.
Right, because they're totally gonna hook up, and then they're gonna be casually hanging out as a couple, and then the grabbers are totally gonna hatch, and they'll have grabbers too.
Yeah. What if it's like from
grabbing
Prometheus when she's gonna have a grabber baby?
Oh.
There you go.
No.
So is
would be weird.
it weird though on the topic of the love interest in grabbers that I thought we're cops together, and then I drunkenly confess that I'm attracted to you. I found that a much more endearing and believable love story than most movies possess. Is that like?
Oh my god, that was great. Yeah.
Okay, good.
The fact that they did not hook up that night, I fucking loved that.
Yeah.
Like, that was great. I was so worried that the movie was going to do that, which would have made it instant shit.
Well, yeah, because that would have been that 20 minutes. It's like, okay, add a scene where they're banging in the car, and then they have to like go into the monster hive at the end, and there's your 25 minutes that make it a shitty movie.
Right.
Yep.
That's how you ruin grabbers. I did think that was a point in its favor too, because it also gives O'Shea some more seriously redeeming qualities, that he does not just decide to hook up with the girl who is wasted.
Well, yeah, because it's funny because you have such the obvious switch in roles of the characters. The guy who doesn't really give a fuck, he's drunk all the time, and her who has a definite purpose. Then
Grabbers, the only the movie that proves that in order to get over a crippling addiction, all you need is just a little bit of willpower and
an alien invasion.
An alien invasion. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And love or energon.
Oh yeah.
Oh right, love. Yeah.
All we need is a little luck and a
little
energon and a lot of luck
and some pants that you want to get into.
There you
Did
go.
you say a little energon?
Little energon and a lot of luck.
A lot of luck.
Oh right, yeah.
I was like, are you honestly going to not get this reference? Seriously.
I don't get
but it's from Transformers, the animated movie.
Yeah, I've never seen anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a slew of likable characters and actors who do play them really well. I agree. Aside from the doctor who just throughout the entire thing I dislike because he was crappy. but I do love the argument. I discovered them. I get to name them. No, we have to name them based on their species. I discovered them. I get to name them.
Yeah.
They're grabbers.
Yeah, I feel like the direction they gave the doctor guy was probably like, just kind of be a basic douche. Like, quality doesn't matter.
So, exactly, because it's like, hey, be a douche. We're going to kill you off, and no one's really going to give a fuck about it. Because remember, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
And
so
I think they did that
I felt
perfectly well. They held the comedy aspect solidly throughout the movie. They built a little bit of suspense with, killing the little couple earlier in the film. And they said, you liked the characters, you cared about the characters, you never really felt that they were in any real danger. But like my favorite scene in the whole movie, though, is when she's shit-faced and they're trying to convince everybody to go to the bar to drink. Yeah, they interrupt, or they interrupt the mass to invite everyone to a party.
To a fucking rager.
Yeah,
rager. I love the scene where they're planning that too.
It's gonna be a right crack.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a right crack.
That phrase, I don't understand it. I mean, I get what it's supposed to mean, but it just. What?
That's how you know it's like an Irish movie made by Irish people, because they don't give a fuck if Americans understand what that means.
Yeah.
No, I've heard the term enough to get it, but it's like that just doesn't add up.
Right. So I hear that and I'm like, well, that's a good thing, right?
It's like the dog's bollocks is bad, but
the dog's. I think that's good.
The dog's bollocks is.
It's
good,
the dog's bollocks.
But there's another phrase that's bad.
Yes.
If you're a bollocks,
obviously, but
if
the
you're
dog's
the dog's
bollocks, something
bollocks,
else about the dog's bollocks is good.
apparently a dog's bollocks is
They're awesome.
Might just be because you don't often see balls on a dog.
Maybe.
Hey, that could be.
So it's like, hey, you're rare, chum. You're the dog's bollocks.
Seriously, it could be.
I'm pretty sure if someone called me the dog's bollocks, I would punch them in their bollocks.
Well, yeah, if somebody's like, hey, dog scrotum, what up? And you're like, fuck you, dude.
But seriously, you don't see a set of nuts on a dog that often. You really don't. They get cut off.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like change
Same thing with cats. It's really weird to see it on cats.
So
yeah.
So about grabbers.
I had one
nuts.
thing Chris pinged on me.
What's
Cats. Oh, the scene where they're actually like planning, like, you know, in normal movies would be like, we're gonna need more guns, we're gonna need this type of gun and that type of gun, and then like, or like, you know, that's a big Twinkie, you know, in Ghostbusters. In this scene, it's just fucking great because, you know, she's drunk as shit and they feed the thing the blood, and they're like, ooh, 0.2, and it's like, right, all right, we're going to have to tear the ass out of it. You're like.
Well, I was gonna say that was the other thing when they're collecting their weapons. And she's like, I claim the flare gun. And he's like, blah blah blah, super soaker. Well, it's gonna just do better with water. Not if you fill it with gasoline. I claim the super soaker.
You know, what you said a minute ago, I thought was right on, Chris, about how you're not ever really worried for their safety.
Never.
Because every time somebody dies in this movie, you're just sort of like, whoops.
Right.
Shouldn't have done that.
You don't know.
Yeah.
All the deaths, none of the deaths are particularly grim,
Right.
nor surrounded by suspense.
Right. It just kind of happens.
People die, and you're just like, oops.
The only one was where the lady was trying to close her flue, and she gets pulled up to the chimney.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that was like the only real.
That's the only horror in the
couple
movie.
in the house. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Her running around the house screaming is the only horror in the movie.
It really is.
And that was like straight up, like all the horror techniques, like the sort of almost rainy
including
cam.
not fucking grabbing the phone that she was standing right next to.
Everything you need to know about horror movies is in that one scene.
Yep.
Honestly, I would have closed the flue before I grabbed the phone too, because if that thing gets a tentacle in your house, then yeah, you're fucked. It doesn't matter if you're on the phone. 911. Oh shit! What's going on?
Please hold tentacle.
Giant tentacle coming out my chimney.
All right, Eric. Well, I mean, Chris, do you feel like you've said all you can say about grabbers?
Yeah. I really like the movie. Even on a second watching, I enjoyed it. And I am one of those people who will walk down the street. You should watch Grabbers. I'm with you.
Well, I mean, this was your movie suggestion,
Right,
so of course you were.
Just wasn't walking down the street.
Yeah, Johnny, I'm not going to be long because I can kind of tell it actually sounds like you don't like this movie, that John maybe hates this movie.
John is disappointed with this movie.
What?
So
John wants to park this movie in the corner and tell it it's on a timeout.
I've got a couple of little inconsistencies that poked out at me during the movie. So there are a couple times where the grabber squirts on people, like it spits on people, right? Like right when the guy catches it and he goes, "Oh, that's no feckin' lobster. You did that to me. You knew it was going to do that to me." Like, so the monster spitting on people's eyes, and because it spits on them again when they're at the lab. Right. The monster spitting is apparently irrelevant, so I don't know why they put it in the movie in the first place.
It isn't irrelevant. It's actually how the big grabber is tracking. It's love juice. It's pheromone love juice.
Do they say that?
So
yeah, but they said it in Irish, so you can't really tell.
It's fucking pheromone love juice.
I guess it wasn't. I mean, because the small one was, strangely enough, they were alluding to the fact that it was the female.
Yep.
Yeah. Which in nature, females are especially
usually
when it's
the
not
big
mammals,
ones.
they're usually bigger.
Right.
Like when they have to carry eggs, they're larger.
Yeah.
Maybe it was bigger when it was pregnant. You're not allowed
Like
to ask them if they're
all
pregnant, though.
sea creatures, the females.
Yeah,
are
maybe she just lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, maybe she's.
Well,
proud
this
of her
thing's an
body.
alien creature, so obviously the roles are reversed.
It's a sea creature still.
Alien.
No, it's alien.
Alien. Like the first thing in the movie, is that asteroid.
But
thing.
it can't live without the water.
Just because it likes the water doesn't mean it's a sea creature.
It's a space sea creature.
Well,
Haven't you ever heard of space water?
No, I haven't. Like, we've been looking for it for a
That's
long
why
time.
it came here.
Yeah.
It has been too.
Well, I mean, the idea is that all the water that's on Earth got here because of a comet, and the comet melted, and that's what all of our water came here from.
Sounds like bullshit.
That's a lot of water.
Well, the way planets form, rocks like congealing together and turning into one big rock, water doesn't work in that scenario.
What do you call that?
Science!
'Cause
Yes.
that sounds like bullshit.
Like
Checkmate,
how there's
atheists.
the question of how water got on Earth is a really big question that we haven't figured out yet. Anyways,
I think I just gave you the answer.
It said in the beginning. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing
I know it
is,
doesn't explicitly state it, but somewhere in that 7 days, somebody put it here. I don't know.
It's the second day. So the first day was light from dark. The second day was air from sea. Boom.
Yeah, he split.
And you act like you don't know how it got here.
Did you just drop the mic? Did you just drop the mic?
Yeah.
Even
Just
though I'm the
created
one
this,
like
dropped the
talking the
mic.
most shit about.
Second day, air from sea. Boom.
Yeah, well, science is just a theory, so you know. I mean, like whatever,
Okay.
whatever.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so Eric, tell us more about Grabber.
More inconsistencies.
So we talked about when they're divvying up the weapons, and like some of them are using like actual bullshit weapons. Like there's a tiny little knife. And that fucking squirt gun was never gonna work. What they're lighting a candle on the end of it. With a
No,
squirt
yeah,
gun.
no.
Bullshit.
Would have went
I'll
out
take ideas
immediately.
that will
It
never
still would
work
have
for
been
1,000.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Also, if they did fill it with gasoline, it would have just like exploded
Right,
It
on
would
the
have
guy.
been
You know, yeah.
hilarious.
And you have to atomize the gasoline before it'll actually like flamethrower. That's part of what it does.
Right.
Anyway, wow, I'm bringing the science to the show today.
Yeah.
and the spirituality.
Right. I know these two people are raging inside of me at all times.
How do you ride the line like that, man? Like, how do you do it?
I don't.
He ghost rides it.
Yeah, I ghost. No, okay.
Ghost ride the
You guys
I
are breaking my
blackmail. Fuck.
brain right now. You guys are squeezing my brain grapes.
line.
You don't tend to see a lot of those on dogs.
Well done. Well done.
Okay, so they're divvying up the bullshit weapons. But so when the grabber gets into the house and everybody has to go upstairs, so our what the hell is his name? McPoyle,
O'Shea?
O'Shea.
You racist
You got
bastard.
McPoyle?
It's either a
How
Mitch
did
or an O.
How'd you get McPoyle?
Yeah, McPoyle are the people from It's Always Sunny. Anyway, when he goes down there, the grabber grabs him and like starts dragging him. But what does he do when the grabber's dragging him? He grabs a cleaver off the wall and chops its tentacle off. So like the cleaver that like can chop the shit out of a grabber isn't one of the bullshit weapons that they're trying to find.
They're drunk.
That is true.
Hey, come on, man.
One of them was
They gotta-
sober.
They got to use that for cooking. I
But
mean,
what was it?
clearly contaminated.
The old guy had a stick with a nail in it.
A board with a nail in it.
I've got a nail
I got a
gun
board
and a
with a
board
nail in it.
with a nail in it.
That was brilliant. I love that. Make an even bigger board with a bigger nail till it crushes them all.
That's about it. One of the parts I really liked was when he had to jump off the roof and they were outrunning the grabber to the quarry. And she's fucking bombed.
Yeah.
And she just like crashes into stuff to stop at the quarry. He's like, stop. And she just like crashes into the rocks. And then she gets out and she's like really happy about it. I don't know. I really like that scene. But yeah, like really everything that Colin said about the movie is a lot of what I felt about it. It's just the right length. It's just the right amount of suspense. It's a monster movie. It's not a horror movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Chris, it's not a love story. Like the romantic.
You guys obviously didn't watch the movie I watched.
The romantic. No, but the romantic part of it, because all of these movies, let's get it real, all these movies have to have some kind of element of romance in them. And
it's way, usually there.
And the way that this movie did it was well. They didn't like hit you over the head with it. Like O'Shea wasn't bad. I don't know.
I mean, it's a slight spoiler, but not a bad one. Usually they kill off the love interest in a horror movie, and they did not do that this time. And thank you. Like, people can live through a horror movie and it can be good.
Yeah.
Apparently everybody can.
Unlike most people in horror movies, they seem to recognize they were in a horror movie. I mean, obviously not really, but they seem to understand the actual situation they were in.
Yeah, nobody's denying it.
Right.
But yeah, like I was getting at with the movie, like, and it just had like a really good like sense of itself and a really good sense of its own voice. Like at the very end of the movie, the two of them are walking back from the quarry, and he's limping. And he pulls the flask out of his pocket and throws it into the brush. And he goes, "I won't be needing that anymore." And then a second later, he goes, "Oh shit, why did I do that?" And he goes, "No, I didn't really need it." Like it's just got like a really good like little slant, and it knows what kind of movie it is, and it does it well, just like James said. So that's what I thought about the movie, Johnny.
One more inconsistency that wasn't mentioned was that the grabbers tend to eat you from the top down, and yet they spit out your head.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Maybe the head goes all the way through and comes out the other side.
Like a Pop-Tart. Boop. That would be hilarious, but no.
James,
it's not like a Pop-Tart.
No, it's like...
Yeah, like it spits out the head out the top of the grabber.
Pop-Tart's coming out of his butt.
Yeah, and the way you guys normally eat them.
You mean out the schmenkle-rator.
I was so...
Rage, Johnny, rage.
It's not so much a rage thing. It's just, like I said, just like a straight up disappointment. This movie can be basically summed up in one fucking word, which is pacing. Like, I have never seen a more poorly paced monster movie in my life.
Wrong. You saw Jaws.
Jaws is great pacing.
Jaws is one of the best movies ever.
Yes.
I love Jaws.
Yes.
But the pacing's slow.
And this movie... Well, I'm not saying about slow. I'm saying off. I mean, every single scene in this movie was about 5 seconds too long. Everything was, like, slightly off. So much that it would, like, pull me out of it. And I don't mind training wheels monster movies. I don't mind, horror, I mean, you guys are definitely right. This movie knew what it was, and it was short, and it was sweet, and it stuck to the point, and... it had just that little bit of humor that was just kind of this side of funny and ha ha ha. But it's like, I can't watch this movie in a vacuum. And this movie, it's like a pale ghost of an experience when it comes to other kind of horror movies that are out there right now, specifically monster movies. Like this, even with fucked up Korean sensibilities, this movie can't hold a candle to the host.
Okay,
that's what I was trying to think of is the host. The host did monster movies very well.
Well, I think you're really trying to fork it into being a horror monster movie more than what I think it truly was, which
was a
was
monster comedy.
Right, it's a dark comedy.
It's a comedy with an alien in it.
Right, that happens to have an alien.
Like let's say Little Shop of Horrors, comedy with an alien in it. And songs. Or how about Cabin in the Woods? Comedy with horror elements. I mean, this is not a new idea. This is not something that...
I just think you're focusing that it's a horror more than a comedy. I think, honestly, it's way more of a comedy than it is a...
Oh, no, I know it's not a horror movie because it doesn't have much of a body count. And there is, like Colin said, there is absolutely no suspense whatsoever. That has to be there for horror. You have to actually feel that this monster... has, in some way, at least puts the people in danger. I mean, the creature from the Black Lagoon was more dangerous than this thing.
I mean, I guess, like, my reaction to that is I think that Grabbers was a bit... I don't see the difference qualitatively between Grabbers and Cabin in the Woods or Little Shop of Horrors.
Really?
Yeah, and I loved both of those movies. Like, I really did. And I've watched Little Shop many times. It used to be one of my favorites because I loved Rick Moranis because I was a kid with glasses. So, I don't know. I've asked you this question many times in the 25 years we've known each other. Where do you get your expectations?
Yeah, Little Shop is amazing. Cabin in the Woods is very good. How often do these movies come around? I mean, Grabbers, that's the reason I'm not going to run down the street and be like, you need to watch this, because if somebody hasn't seen Little Shop of Horrors, I'm like, you need to watch Little Shop of Horrors. Somebody hasn't seen Cabin in the Woods, I'm like, you should really watch Cabin in the Woods. But
see, I think I would recommend this before I recommend Cabin in the Woods. I would that movie, but I enjoy this movie a lot more.
I think this is a much more enjoyable movie than Cabin in the Woods. I think Cabin in the Woods is only better than Grabbers if you already love horror movies and know the tropes.
Yeah.
If you don't get what they're doing, I think that the whole thing of Cabin in the Woods is way too esoteric.
Is basic douche one of those horror movie tropes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say basic douche is one of them. Like, guy with no character other than just sort of being a douche the whole time. Don't know anything about him other than he's a douche.
And you hope he dies.
But I mean, when it comes down to my expectations, and when it comes down to horror movies specifically, I guess I bring a lot to the table when it comes to horror movies, because I have seen so many horror movies, and I have my favorites, and I have movies that I can appreciate on so many different levels because they touch something about they either play with the genre in a way that I really enjoy, like House of the Devil, or they do something really interesting, like same director, but The Innkeepers. Innkeepers is not really that great of a horror movie, but they do some fantastic mood setting that you just haven't seen before.
So I watched Innkeepers and I watched House of the Devil, and I enjoyed both of them, and now I can't remember what the thing was in either of them.
So
in House of the Devil, in House of the Devil it was Satanists, and Innkeepers it was ghosts. But that's the thing, is that there's certain things about certain horror movies that really kind of get me going, and they basically make it so I bring a lot to a table with it. When it comes to Grabbers, I just felt like I was watching something that was almost on point. It's like biting into
Kickin' chicken noodle nugget.
Biting into kicking chicken noodle nuggets, but you're missing all the spicy flavor, and instead you just get kind of like a crunchy nugget noodle ball, which isn't bad.
That's what it is.
Well, they're kicking.
That's the new product brought to you by Guy Fieri's chicken kicking noodle
But they
nuggets
should be spicy
ball.
too. They should give you fire hose ass.
Right? So what you're saying
if that's
is
not
Grabbers
happening,
didn't give you fire hose ass.
Right, it didn't make you shit enough because
No, I'm just saying it was okay. It was fun, but man, coming out of the gate, this was not the home run that I was hoping.
You know what's weird? Yeah. And this is a thing about John. Better than okay, because Grabbers was better than okay. Better than okay always gets the worst review from John. That is his least favorite zone of quality, is on the fairer side of good bad.
Oh man, John must hate this podcast.
The funniest is I listen to him. Sometimes he reviews movies that I can tell he really wanted to dislike, but liked in spite of himself because they were really only pretty good, but had a lot of charm, because John loves charm and heart,
I do.
He's
I do love charm.
He's a lover of Care Bears.
But this movie had no charm and heart.
In fact, if you were a Care Bear, you would be Charm and Heart Bear. This movie.
But keep going.
I think it's funny because I was initially agape at you disliking this, and now I'm like, no, it totally makes sense, because it's good enough for him to be a total hipster about it, but not good enough for him to be able to overcome that instinct, because you're a 90s kid
glasses,
and you hate everything that's cool.
You know what's ridiculous is that me and John are actually on the exact same page. It's just he came in with expectations that were way fucking out there, and I came in with like, well, let's watch this movie.
So pretty much, John was looking for like full-on
pizza,
and all he got was
pepperoni.
Here's the thing: is that John, when it comes to horror movies, John is always expecting
pizza.
Like when it comes to horror
Johnny
movies,
brings
that
a lot
is
of.
It's like
he brings a lot of expectations to the date. You know, he's not buying you this dinner so you can go off and
have a picnic.
John expects really great
pizza,
and then he gets pretty good
pizza
and goes home complaining. You know, like
it's better than okay.
Yeah, well, it was on the fairer side of good as far as
pizza
goes. I've had
long
a
story
lot
short,
of
he's
I
had
know what
better.
good
pizza
is. I've had better. Yeah, exactly. Like that's how John is with horror movies. So John and I are fighting, and I'm mad at him.
But I mean, you guys, okay? You guys all really think that Grabbers is a good movie that you should recommend to your friends.
Watch it with the family.
Yep. That's the thing. You can watch this with the family. It's completely and utterly unoffensive. It's training wheels horror. You know, for me, it's like if you're gonna do comedy horror,
you're gonna have
pizza.
Better fucking make it good. McMonster movie.
There you go.
It's a McMonster movie.
Nice.
Actually, that's perfect.
It's a McMonster movie.
All right, so you know what? I think it's time for the game.
Pizza.
I think I've said all that I could about this. You know, I mean, yeah, I've said all I could say about this. You jamooks aren't going to listen to me anyway.
Pizza.
And quite honestly, everyone who listens to this podcast knows that I'm right and you guys are wrong.
Well, that's the way he edits it.
Either he's right or he edits himself out of the podcast.
So you can expect no Johnny this
talk
week.
like jackasses about all the stuff that's wrong. Welcome to John Hates Movies.
I make several brilliant points in which there was not time to include in the final cut.
Technical difficulties.
You know, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Well, John, you really changed my mind.
Me too.
So there you go.
You know what, John? You know what? You were right.
I never thought of
John,
that way.
you were fucking wrong. I mean, you were pizza wrong.
Okay, time for the game. Chris, you got a game for us?
Yeah, I got a game for you guys. So, what you have to do, come up with your horror movie monster and how you resolve the monster, how you kill the monster.
Oh.
My monster is going to be Corn Boy, and he kills people by giving them diabetes and by impregnating them with plants, corn plants. We'll say that he was a boy that died in a corn thresher. Seeks his revenge, and the way you defeat him is by covering him in butter and chili powder and sticking him in shooting him with a microwave gun.
Chili powder, okay.
Ancho chili powder. That's really good. I mean, the actual corn, if you put corn, like ancho chili powder and butter on corn, it's really good. Not what James said. I would have thought that the only way to kill him would be to run him over again with the original machine that created him.
Thresher his cow.
That's...
Oh.
Yeah.
That would just make him more angry.
No, it's the original, so therefore it has, like, spiritual
power. It has power over him.
You have to go to patient zero, as it were.
That would be the psych out first death.
Come back.
Oh, and then he'd come back. Gotcha.
Then it turns out that you actually have to kill the thresher that made him.
Yeah. With the corn cob.
Yeah, shove a corn cob up its tailpipe.
All right.
That's good. That's good.
Who's next?
Oh boy. Okay, so the monster is made of improperly discarded tires. And so he's a big tire monster. He's made of old tires. And he runs through town, like, just basically smashing people because he's a giant rubber monster. And so he's sort of like, he likes people like the grabber does, you know, and just makes all kinds of trouble running around town, this big sort of tire golem.
There's a pun at the end of that.
No, I'm just.
Let's keep going down this road.
Just stalling.
Yeah, just keep on rolling,
stalling.
Colin.
I wonder if flashy attire can beat him.
Yeah, because attire. No, all I got is they can
Colin's
defeat
feeling
him.
the pressure.
Oh, is it hot in here? No, I'm just not getting a lot of traction on this idea. So they have to burn the tire golem, but they have to make sure they do so in a way that's in accordance with EPA emissions regulations. I got nothing. I'm so sorry. You made me go.
I know. I did it because I want to win. Okay, so in the middle of a park, there is a single tree, a mutant tree of death that grabs people out of the park and eats them. And they beat it by... Well, the first fake death would be they beat it by flying a kite with a bomb strapped onto it. Which the tree would then eat, and then, it would blow up, the top half, but then, the bottom half would, create more roots and stuff and try and kill them, and then they'd have to use, some kind of special fertilizer.
Special fertilizer.
That's,
Or like deathalizer.
That's exactly it, thanks.
fertilizer.
Or hertilizer, I like hertilizer.
Oh.
But it's a mutant tree. It's a mutant tree that eats people.
I hate to say it, I think Corn Boy's the best one so far.
No.
The afterwards to John's is you see a carpenter making a table.
Yeah, exactly.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Or an ottoman.
Otto Man.
That's your movie, Colin. Otto Man.
You know, at the end he has to lay down. You know why?
Man.
Because he's
tired.
He's too tired.
Okay, Eric, bring us home.
All right. So everybody knows that the scariest monster is the monster that could live in the house with you, or should be living in the house with you, I guess is another way to put it. Like, it's a real life person. It's like men are worse monsters than like these imaginary rolling creeper monsters or some stupid fucking tree or a tire or whatever else.
Hey, tires are bad for the environment.
So my monster is the deadbeat dad.
Ooh.
And the deadbeat dad, he'll call you on Thursday and he'll be like, "Hey, we're gonna hang out on Saturday, right? We're going to the park. I'll come by and pick you up at 11." And you go, "Okay, yeah, that's great." And 11:30 rolls around, 12 noon rolls around, and you're like, "Fuck, what's the deal with this guy?" So you walk down to his house and he's fucking bombed on bad beer. And the only way to defeat the deadbeat dad is to take away his scratch-off money.
Wow, that was
Make it so he
super
can't use
fucking
scratch-off lotto.
depressing.
That's
Now,
pretty
see,
bad.
if the deadbeat dad could actually raise the dead like a necromancer,
Oh, deadbeat.
Oh,
Wow.
he'd be the dead eat dad.
I was going dark today.
Man,
Yeah.
sad cast. I want to do it. We got to do like horror movie announcer voice for each of these.
Sad cast.
Sad cast.
I've got some horror movie shit for you guys.
Oh.
Yeah. Darkness falls across the
Oh,
The
yeah.
midnight hour is
Close
close
at
at hand.
Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize y'all's neighborhood.
Smooth music. Vincent Price. Terrorize your
Y'all's
neighborhood.
neighborhood. And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell.
I just want you to do like the Vincent Price voice, but do like rap.
Oh, man.
1, 2, 3, and to the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre
Hippie.
are at the door.
Hippie to the hip, hip hop, you don't stop the boogie with the bang bang boogie.
to the rhythm of the boogity beat. Now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat.
That's pretty good.
Stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to.
I look funny.
But you're making money, see? The whole world hope you're ready for me. Anyway, so who won, Chris?
That was good.
All right, so let's have a quick recap of our monsters. We had James's
Corn Boy.
Corn Boy.
Boy that was defeated by what?
By destroying the second microwaves or destroying the Thresher.
Popped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Colin's tire person that they had to burn.
A
tire fire.
Within EPA emission regulations.
Yes, EPA emission regulations.
John had a tree that you just had to chop it down.
That was kind of a douche, and then got turned into a table. And Eric had the scary father figure that grew under. I actually thought your resolution was going to be you defeat him by years and years of therapy.
Well, that too.
I don't know.
Who won, Chris?
I'm teetering between Eric and James, honestly.
Oh, man.
What?
Why?
I'll give it to Eric.
Why?
I'll give it to Eric.
Ah!
And also because...
Is it because you know what movie I'm going to pick?
I don't, actually.
We talked about it last week.
I have a poor memory. I'm going to give it to you because yours was the scariest of them all.
Oh, boy.
Too real, Roy. Too real.
It definitely was the scariest of them all.
It was the scariest, but it was also the most depressing.
Most depressing.
Would be awesome.
I'm telling you, man, killer tree. Killer kite-eating tree. That certainly has never been done anywhere.
I actually did like that they flew a kite into it with a bomb.
Yeah, that was funny.
Style. Yeah.
So, Eric, what have you got for us?
All right, so I've never seen this movie before, but I was just searching around on Netflix and I saw there's this old movie from the 90s, the early 90s, that had Jennifer Aniston in it called Leprechaun.
Oh God!
I've never seen it either.
Oh God!
Leprechaun.
Okay, now I don't feel so bad. We're about to see how horror comedy is actually done. If my memory serves me correctly, this is actually a pretty damn funny movie. With excellent pacing and 90s special effects. So
so John,
it'll
be a next version of Does It Hold Up?
Yeah, that's true. It's been a very long time since I've seen this, so this will be number 2 of Will It Hold Up?
Has anyone else seen this before?
I've seen it.
I have
Chris
not.
Has, Johnny or Jimmy?
No, I've avoided this one.
You never see. I wish they had Leprechaun in the Hood. That would be.
Oh God,
that's a great one.
Oh God. So we're going from Irish stereotypes to Irish stereotypes.
Yeah, what are we going to do around St. Patty's Day?
Who knew those Irish had such good horror movies?
This is some fine work by Warwick Davis we're going to be witnessing, isn't it?
Yes, actually it is.
Wow.
Yep, Warwick Davis is the Leprechaun.
This is before he got too good to put on makeup and shit.
Yeah, well, he's pretty funny. And he
oh my God,
he did his time, man. He
he did.
He's all cred to Warwick Davis. He's a baller. Well, guys, I think we are at our end here. Next week, to continue our Spooktober, is going to be Leprechaun.
Ooh.
Leprechaun.
Scary Leprechaun.
The leprechaun is also cursed.
You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, the Stitcher app, or directly on our website. Feel free to send us a movie review suggestion. You'll have an equal chance of getting chosen for next week's movie review. You can reach us through social media, either by liking our Facebook page, John Hates Movies, or following our Twitter at John Hates Movies. Our music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. You can find this track and many more on his website, incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to hear someone say,
Garbage Day!